Good morning, YouTube. Look at the mess. Every day. Person I live with is a slob. So, I'm assuming that many of you watching these YouTube videos are van want-to-be, nomad want-to-bees, maybe weekend nomadic campers. Otherwise, why would you watch? If you're actually doing it, you probably don't have time to watch YouTube. But that's sort of the subject. What do you do all day, Sue? What do you do when you live in a van? That's one of the questions a lot of people ask. Well, the first thing I do every morning is just like you. I get up and I make a cup of coffee. Stay tuned. So yeah, I have my coffee first thing. And then, of course, there are household chores. When you live in such a small space as this, whether it's a van or a car, which I can't imagine that, but there are people who live in cars, you're constantly cleaning. It's kind of a drag, but if you don't, it becomes intolerable. Straightening and cleaning and trying to keep everything organized is a major full-time task. And it never stays that way. This is me after going down a bumpy road. So back to this question of what do you do all day? How could you possibly, if you're not working, how could you possibly keep from being bored and going crazy? And you know, I don't know about other people, but I have not gotten bored yet. But a lot of it is not woo-woo fun stuff. It's like this, like you got to do dishes. Everything you do in a normal life, you still have to do if you live in a van. And I'm in a campground, and I save up my dishes usually until I'm in a campground. It's a lot easier to cook the water out here, and I just heat it up, put it in one bucket, wash them, lay them out on the picnic table to dry, and then put them in the other bucket that's clean and take them in and put them away. But, you know, that takes a while. Got to heat up the water and all that. And then today I'm moving, so I have to pack everything up. I don't have a lot out here, but I have to pack up. And so usually I'm not on the road if I'm moving someplace till about 11 o'clock. I don't rush, but I get up, have my coffee, a couple of cigarettes, walk around, and then by the time you know it, it's 11. So if I'm traveling, then I'm driving the rest of the afternoon. And still there are chores. There's laundry and grocery shopping. Sometimes I have to empty that potty. Like today, I'm going to go to this town and check it out. I'm going to drive around. I might come back here for the night. It's not that far away. I at least know I have a place to stay. That's usually the next thing one worries about before I leave. I have to, either the night before or the morning of, I have to find some internet and figure out where I'm going. I let Google tell me within reason. I often tell her don't go on the highway, so then I have choices. And that leads to the question, and somebody did actually ask me this, how do you find places? Well, as far as camping, I think they were referring to the actual places I go to. But as far as camping, there are a lot of apps that you can get for your phone. I've never really found one that I like. Well, the one I did like was Good Sam's, but I don't have a membership anymore, so I don't have access to it. And it wasn't on my phone. So I do spend a fair amount of time looking at different websites. So there's Allstays, freecampsites.net, Compendium, and Good Sam's, or just Google So sometimes Google Maps, when I pick a town I'm going to, if you spread Google Maps open, it'll have a little camp, or you can say search here for camping, and it'll bring up everything. And that's usually where I find the regional, the little city camps. Sometimes those are free, and often they're really nice. Like this little town park in Arizona, totally free. I like campgrounds. And everybody's different. Some people don't mind parking in residential. That just makes me nervous. I parked in a casino a couple nights ago, and somebody knocked on my door at 9 o'clock at night and said, "No, you can't park here. You have to move. We don't want your kind." So I had to drive at night. I hate doing that, and I try to avoid that. So for me, there's a lot of angst about finding a spot that's safe and that I can be, and I don't have to worry about somebody knocking on my damn door. I can't drive at night. I don't like to drive at night. I guess I can, I did, but I don't like it. So I try to avoid that. I can do Walmart. In fact, I think they're wonderful campgrounds, but they're expensive. You go into the store and you buy a bunch of crap. Some of them are lovely, but there are areas like in Phoenix, I couldn't find one that would let me spend the night. So then that's how I got in trouble with the casino. Anyway, I moved out of Phoenix quick after that. The next day, found a nice campground. A lot of times people will, when the question comes up on a Facebook page, what do you do all day? People will offer all these suggestions: knitting, shell collecting, rock painting. There's a million little hobbies, activities, crafts you can do. My advice is don't do any of that. Enjoy where you are. It's a rare treat. I also read. I guess there's a hobby, that's my hobby. I read. I actually have a big stack of books, and someday I'm going to get to some of them. Some days all I really do is tend to these batteries. I ended up buying a smart charger, and so once in a while I have to find a campground and just hunker down for the day. Other days I go to places. Here's a museum I went to, and I love hot springs, so I've spent several days just lounging around doing nothing. Or I'll spend a day making a video. I've been here 2 days and I haven't seen a park employee at all. So there's a secret for you. This time of year, after mid-October, the state parks kind of close down. And or federal parks, and a lot of state parks too. You'll find there's no camp hosts, there's no anybody around, and you're supposed to get a little envelope and stick it in there. And there are some places where they actually come by and there's some sort of security, and there's other places where they don't. And so I offer them what I think the services were worth. Sometimes it's nothing, and also I'm poor. So I learned that working in a national park, that they really don't care at this time of year. I had another tip. I hope I remember it. Here's my hint number 2. If I'm not moving on, if I'm staying in a campground a second day, campgrounds are best in the daytime. Everybody leaves at 11, and if they're staying for another night, they're off doing whatever it is they do, driving, hiking. Campgrounds are deserted, which means they're quiet. So quiet. So lots of times, all I do in the afternoon is enjoy the quiet and the beautiful environments that they're all in. And if it wasn't a beautiful campground, I wouldn't stay another night, generally speaking. So the afternoon could be spent just being here. In my 5 days of Chaco Canyon, I spent 3 of them just in the campground. It was lovely. And before you know it, the day is over. It's getting close to nighttime. Now you got campfire and beautiful sunsets to watch.